So start in a standing position with like just a nice wide stance. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, and just with a nice wide stance, and we're just going to take a couple of shirt sleeve twists just to loosen up the back and make sure everything's feeling good. So right away, you're going to tune in and notice how your energy level is right now. Awesome. Take one or two more little swings of the arms and then step your feet in just a little bit closer so that they're about hip width distance apart. We're going to roll down about 3 times, and then the last time we're going to stay there and hang. So take a nice big breath, reach your arms up, bend your knees a lot, tuck your chin into your chest, and imagine that you're peeling your back away from a wall. Roll all the way down to the ground, maybe take a little sway side to side. And then as you come back to center, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll on up. Take a nice gentle roll of the shoulders. And then we'll do that again. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, bend your knees a lot. Pull your chin into your chest, round your back as you roll down. Take a little sway side to side. And then as you come back to center, bend your knees, pull your abdominal muscles in and roll up. Roll your shoulders down and back. And then we'll just do that one last time, but then we're going to hang out here. So take a big inhale, tuck your chin into your chest, bend your knees a lot, roll on down. And then once you're down, stay there and find a nice generous bend in the knees. If it feels good to you, you'll grab your elbows, but you can also just let your hands rest on the ground. So you're just going to find the position that feels the nicest to you. And then start here by tuning into your breath. So notice if you're inhaling and exhaling in a nice, slow and gentle rhythm. And then notice the back of your neck. So if you feel like you're craning your neck up just a little bit to look forward, see if you can soften the back of your neck. Let your head hang heavy, heavy, heavy here. We've already been here for 1 minute, so just notice, how is everything feeling? Is your breath still coming out and in a nice gentle rhythm? Now for this last minute here, if you want gravity to do a little extra work for you, think about grabbing your elbows so your hands are lifted away from the floor, and just let that gentle pull of the elbows draw you a little deeper into the fold. Take one more breath here. And then if you're holding your elbows, let your fingers touch down to the ground. We're going to come into a tabletop position from here. So slowly start to step your knees down to the ground. And then as you come into that tabletop position, take a couple of gentle cat and cows, just kind of move into the spine, bring some fluid back into those discs. Nice. Take one or two more cat and cows, and then we're going to come down onto a belly down position. So we're going to set up for our Sphinx pose. So bring your elbows and forearms down, step your feet to the back edge of your mat, and then just lower with control onto your belly. Release your toes, and then you're just going to kind of wiggle your hips and your knees around just so that everything feels like it's in a good position. And then once you've found your way there, think about elbows in line with the shoulders, hands in parallel, drawing the shoulder blades together, and then option here to either tuck your chin down into your chest, so you're going to get that little stretch in the back of the neck, or if it feels like you want that more active back bend, you're going to keep your head lifted. So you're going to choose your own adventure with your head and your neck, but then start to tune into your low back. So if you feel like there's a little too much compression in the low back, think about drawing your tailbone towards your heels a little bit, and you're going to find a little bit of an engagement in your belly, creating that little bit of length in the low back, and then see where else you can soften around that. We're already halfway through our hold here, so just tune into your breath for a second. Notice how everything's feeling. For this last minute here, if you want that extra back bend, you're going to take it into a seal. You're going to press into the palms, lifting the elbows away from the ground, but then just make sure that that feels like a safe enough compression on the low back. You might feel sensation there, but hopefully it's not any zinging or electric pain. If you find any of that going on, just soften back down. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, start to soften your elbows, let yourself lower down. We're going to push our way up into a tabletop position and take it into a toe stretch. So press your way on up. If it feels like a good cat and cow here would just soothe your back, take one or two of those gentle cat and cows just to make sure your back feels nice and happy. But then we're going to curl both sets of toes under and then just push your butt back to your heels. So we're not going to go to the extreme on that toe stretch, so that we can stay here just a little bit longer. And even in this position with your butt back onto your heels, this might be a lot of sensation. So if at any point it feels like it's too much, you're going to lift your butt away from your heels so that you can release some of that pressure on the bottoms of the feet. But if it feels okay, keep a nice firm pressure on your hands. Weight is in your bum. Soften the back of your neck, and then just tune into your breath here. Watching your inhale and slowing down your exhale. And then while you're in this position, just take a second to tune into your knees. So if at any point this big compression with your calves connected to the backs of your thighs, if that feels like too much pressure on your knees and your kneecaps, you can always take your blanket or your towel and tuck it right between your calves and your thighs to just release some of the pressure from your knees. But if this feels like a safe and comfortable place to be, hang out here a little bit longer, soften your jaw. Soften your shoulders. We've got 1 minute left here, so just tune in and check, make sure everything is feeling good and you're still breathing comfortably. Take one more breath here. And then slowly come up back into that tabletop position. And then as you release your toes, you're just going to kind of keep your toes lifted and just give everything a nice little wiggle. Wiggle out your toes, the bottoms of the feet and the ankles. Nice. And then if it feels good, you're just going to lightly tap your feet on the ground just to invite a little bit of fluid back down to your toes, a little blood, a little lymphatic fluid. Just let everything kind of move down and get attention down at your feet. Take 1 or 2 more good taps of your feet. And then we're going to come back down onto our belly down position, but we're going to take it into our tree frog pose. So lower onto your belly, and you're going to take your elbows fairly wide so that your forehead's going to be able to rest on your backs of your hands. But now we're going to slide the right leg up and in. So imagine that your right leg is in sort of a tree position. So the knee is going to be bent and the heel is coming towards the inner thigh. And what we want to encourage is not so much a big giant stretch, but actually a shortening of the hip flexor muscle, but in external rotation, so that we can let everything kind of soften and chill out. So once you've got your leg in a good position, just let your forehead rest on the backs of your hands. And then you want to kind of tune into your butt, to your hips and your inner thigh and see if you can let all of those muscles soften and relax. And then sometimes in these positions, if we ask certain muscles to relax, other muscles will want to pick up the tension or pick up some like engagement to help. So if you check in with your left leg, the leg that's extended long, just kind of curl your toes under, pick up your knee, and then readjust your knee so that that whole leg can be nice and soft and loose. Check your bum, make sure that you didn't pick up any extra tension there. And then see about your low back. See if you can soften and invite some softness from the low back down into the belly. So even though your belly's down and you're getting a little bit of a compression, can you allow all of that area to soften? And then once you've found that sense of softness, now can you tune into the breath, and you're just going to notice your body still moves with the breath, and the breath is just going to do all of the work for you here. Now see if you can tune into your bent leg, that inner thigh muscle and that hip flexor muscle. And just notice if you started to pick up any tension, like it wants you to move, give it a little wiggle and then allow your butt to soften again, inner thigh to soften again. Take one more breath here. And then we'll release nice and slow. So start to lift your upper body up just a little bit to prop yourself up on your elbows. And then you're going to slide that right leg long and give everything a little soft shake. Wiggle out your bum, wiggle out your heels, make sure everything feels okay. And then we're going to take it right to the other side. So we're going to slide that left leg up into that bent knee position. Heel comes towards the inner thigh. And then once you've got that leg in a good position, let everything else soften down. Let your forehead rest on the backs of your hands. Give everything a second to kind of find its way there. Wiggle out your bum, wiggle out your shoulders, make sure everything found a soft place to land. And do a nice little quick check-in on your extended leg. So if the leg that's extended long feels like the kneecap needs a little adjust, curl your toes under, lift up, and then release it all back down again. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to lift your head, prop yourself up on your elbows so you can slide that leg long and then give everything a good shake. Wiggle out your bum, wiggle out your shoulders, make sure everything feels okay. We're going to press our way up into a tabletop position and then find our way into child's pose. So option for child's pose is either big toes together, knees together. This offers a little bit more support for the low back. But if you like a little bit more space for the belly and the chest, you're going to walk your knees out wide. So you're going to just choose the version that feels like it would be best suited for your body tonight. And then just allow your arms to lower down, let your chest and your forehead sink down, and then let everything find a little softness. So rather than efforting in the arms or efforting holding your head up, let everything soften. And then once you've got everything kind of in a nice position, see if you can just start to tune back into your breath. And just notice that nice, gentle movement of your whole body that's connected with the breath. So as you breathe in, your lungs fill up, presses on the diaphragm, moves a little bit around in the belly, but you might also feel the compression of the belly against your legs. And you might just feel a gentle movement of breath down to your toes and up to your fingers. So just see how far you can feel the breath in your body. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to come up into a tabletop position. Walk your knees in just a little bit and then take a couple of wags of your tail. So like you're trying to drop your hips towards the floor. So just drop them side to side. Nice. Take one more little wag side to side, and then we're going to come into a side seat position. So think zigzag seat or deer pose. So one leg is going to be in front of the body, one leg is going to be bent out to the side. And you're just going to give a second to get that all situated. And then you're going to take your body torso and rotate towards your front leg. So the leg that is out in front of you, you're going to rotate towards that, off to the side, and then come into the level that feels the best to you. So you could be a little bit more upright or come down elbows and forearms, or if you've got plenty of space to move, you can reach your arms long. So you're going to choose which feels like the best way to go. Make some space for your belly, make some space for your chest, and then allow a little softness in the back of your neck. And allow a little time here to tune back into your breath. So as you find this twisted position, you're going to feel a little bit of a different constriction of the breath. So just tune in and notice the breath. Notice the sides of your body, notice the back of your body. And see if you can start a little scan through your body. Start at your fingers and just notice if you're holding any tension or extra gripping in the hands, can you let your hands be soft? And though your elbows and your forearms are helping support you and your shoulders are slightly engaged, can you let them be a little bit soft, maybe even loosening the neck? And then tune into your breath for a moment. So just kind of notice as you inhale and the diaphragm moves down, notice that little bit of a filling up of your belly. And then notice that extra softness as you exhale and let go. And then check your inner thighs. Notice if you're holding any tension there or gripping around the knees. And then take your awareness down to your toes and just notice if you're holding any tension or gripping in your toes or your feet. Can you let those soften as well? Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, you'll start to come up nice and slow. So walk yourself on up, rotate back towards that front knee, and then just take a little counter twist. So twist towards the other side just to find a little counter movement. Take a nice big breath. Awesome. And then release. And we're just going to kind of swing those legs around. So just swing your legs or move them in any way that feels like the best way to go for you. So now the other leg is out to the side, the other leg comes in front. Make sure your hips feel nice and heavy into the earth. And once you feel like you've got a good arrangement of the legs, rotate towards that front leg. And then maybe bring the elbows and forearms down, or really any other position of the arms that feels like the best position for you. Nice. And then take a second right away to tune into your breath. So notice the compression from that twist, and then see if there's any arrangements that you need to make so that it feels like a more comfortable breath for your body. We're about halfway through our hold on this side. So start that little scan. Start up at your fingers and just notice, are you holding or gripping tension in your hands? Can you let them soften? Can you soften your shoulders and the back of your neck? Notice if you're holding or gripping in the inner thighs, the muscles around the knee or your feet. And then once you feel like you've let go of any efforting, can you tune back into your breath and just watch that inhalation, feeling the diaphragm move down, feeling that fullness in your belly, and then exhale, softening and letting it all go. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up slow. So gently start to walk yourself up with your hands and then rotate. Pause in the center, take your breath, and then rotate towards the other side just to find that little counter stretch. Nice. And then release back to center. We're going to start to find our way back down onto the ground. But we're going to be in a butterfly position or cobbler's pose with our legs. And now we're going to take our little rolled up blanket or rolled up towel, whatever you've got, and you're going to place it sideways. So what we want to find is we want to be able to place our rolled up whatever we got underneath our shoulder blades while our legs are in a butterfly position. So with the blanket underneath your shoulder blades, it's going to create a little bit of a back bend, and you might need to wiggle it around, make sure it feels like a good position to be in. And then you want to see if you can let your head drop back and let your arms open wide. And then you should get a nice gentle back bend, a little opening in the chest, little opening in the collarbones with your arms out nice and wide. But then check in and make sure that you're breathing comfortably, that this feels like a good, comfortable position for your head and your neck. If it doesn't feel like a great place to be for the head and the neck, then consider just taking the roll out from underneath you. But if it feels safe and comfortable, just start to find a little softness in the shoulder heads, softness and heaviness in your arms. And then you can always make rearrangements for the diamond shape in your legs. So you might bring the heels a little closer to the inner thighs and the groin, or you might decide to move your heels just a little bit further away, all just depending on the variations in your hips. So you're going to find a position that feels like a sensation on the level of 5 to 7 that you're feeling around the front of the hips, maybe on the outer edges of your hips with that external rotation in the hip joint. But make sure it feels like a good place to be. There's no zinging, no shooting, no electric pain. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to come up and out nice and slow. So start by reaching your hands to the outsides of your thighs and just kind of help those legs come together. And then you're going to just prop yourself up on your elbows so that you can lift up and move your rolled up whatever you got out from underneath you. And then we're going to move back down onto our back. But now we're going to place the towel or the blanket so that it's really nice and close to your butt. So as you roll down back onto your back, you're going to lift your hips up and tuck that blanket or rolled up towel underneath your bum. So it's underneath your hip bones, underneath your tailbone in that good supportive structure. So it's really wants to stay underneath that bony structure so you get lots of support here. And now you're going to reach up and grab hold of your right knee and let your left leg go nice and long. And then once you've got a good handhold and everything feels good, and also it might feel good to hold on with both hands, making that little basket weave. That way you don't have to effort too much, but I don't want you to pull so hard in this leg that it feels like this extreme compression up in the front of the hip. So let it be kind of a loose hold of your right knee, left leg nice and long, and then just allow your left leg to be in the natural position. So that means that the toe might turn out slightly, but just allow for a little letting go there. No need to effort in the left leg. Just allow the heaviness of your arms to hold on to that right knee. And then see if you can allow your shoulders to soften and just tune back into your breath. Start by noticing the front range of motion of the breath. So as you inhale, you might feel a little bit of a lift or expansion in the front of the chest or a little bit of a lift of the belly. So tune in and notice the front movement of the breath first. And then see if you can move your attention away from the front movement of the breath and notice your ribs, left and right ribs, and just see if you can feel the breath in the side of your body. And then see if you can move your breath awareness or your attention to the back side of your body. So you might feel your shoulder blades kind of snuggled into the earth. Any place of your back that's touching the ground might be a great place to notice the breath. So take a nice big inhale. And then just notice the change in the points of contact as you breathe out. And then see if you can place all of that together. So the front movement, the back movement, and the side movement of the breath. And just see if you can notice that nice 4-part expansion as you breathe in. And the soft releasing as you exhale. Take one more breath here. And now we're going to slide the left leg in. So the leg that's extended long, bring it in, hug both knees into your chest. You might feel a little shift of your tailbone on your roll, but you still want to keep it underneath the tailbone if you can. Give a little gentle rock side to side, but just make sure that feels like a safe place to be. And then when you feel good and ready, hold on to your left knee and let your right leg go long. If you need to make any adjustments to your roll, take a second to do that, just so that it feels like it's still under that nice supportive bony structure. And then once you feel like you've got the blanket in the right place, hips are going to find that nice long length through the right leg. Grab hold of that left knee and then just let the weight of your arms do the work here. So no need to effort too much in that hand hold. And then see if you can start to soften the shoulders. Soften your right leg, so let the toe turn out or turn in, whichever it has a natural tendency to do. And then once you feel like you've got everything else worked out, see if you can tune back into your breath. Start by noticing the front movement of the breath through the front side of your body. And then maybe see if you can move your attention or breath awareness to the side body, noticing your ribs left and right, filling up with air and releasing on the exhale. Check your right leg or that extended leg and just make sure you haven't picked up any tension there. Tension in the kneecap, tension in the top of the thigh or the front of the hip. See where you can soften. And then see if you can bring your awareness back to your breath. Notice the breath in the back side of your body. And then see if you can switch your awareness to the 4 points of breath. So think front side, back side, and ribs, so side to side movement. So feel that nice 4D expansion of the breath. Breathe in a nice big breath and let everything soften on the exhale. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, we're going to draw that right leg in. So both knees are going to be bent into the chest. Give yourself a light little squeeze and then think legs up the wall. So we're just going to float the heels upward towards the ceiling, but allow for a nice generous bend in the knees. And we're just going to take a couple of points and flex of the feet. Nice. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, float your feet back down to the ground. You're going to lift your hips up and move your blanket out from underneath your hips, and then soften your hips back down to the ground. And then just pause for a moment to notice. Notice the benefits of that stretch through the front of the hips, even that gentle bit of a back bend position. So you just want to let your back kind of soften into the ground and just take a couple nice deep breaths here. Great. And then from here, we're going to take it into a happy baby, but we're going to take our happy baby and move with it a lot. So just check your sides of your space. Just make sure you have a little bit of room to move. And then start by pulling your knees up towards your chest. See how that feels. Take a little rock side to side. And then if it feels good, you're going to float your feet up and then grab hold of the blade edges of your feet. And then we're going to start with a small rock side to side. So it doesn't have to be a huge movement to start. And then once you feel like you've got a good bit of sense of your space, you're going to take your happy baby and you're going to make big rolls side to side. So you're going to roll over onto one of your thighs and then move it over to the other side. So big, generous movements. Let your legs move freely or in any way that feels right to you. Just make sure your shoulders feel safe in this movement. Nice. Take one more good rock side to side. And then we're going to take it into a half happy baby. So as you roll back onto your back, you're going to hold onto your right leg, send your left leg nice and long. So that right knee is going to be outside of the ribs, kind of dropping heavy towards the earth. And then just take a firm hand hold of that right leg. We're not going to stay here for a full 3 minutes. So think of this more as a Yang Yoga movement. So we're just going to stay for a few cycles of breath just to feel that nice opening in the hip. You might feel a little pull on the back of the thigh or even a little pull on your glute. So just make sure that you're breathing into that space, letting the shoulders be soft, letting the left leg be heavy and long. Nice. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to keep our hold of that right leg, pull the left leg up and in, back to that full happy baby. Take a couple of gentle rocks side to side, kind of move around in that right leg a little bit, let the knee bend and straighten. just to kind of soothe all of that out. And then we're going to find it to the other side. So we're going to hold on to the left foot, release your grab from the right foot, let it go nice and long, keeping that left knee to the outsides of the ribs to let the knee get heavy towards the earth. Keep a fairly firm handhold, but let your shoulder get heavy and soft. And then just come back to the breath. Let the right leg be long, but just kind of in its own natural position. So no need to effort in that right leg. And then just see if you can tune back into your breath. Nice. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to keep our hand hold of that left foot, pull that right knee in, see if you can reach back up, grabbing that blade edge of that foot. Take a couple little gentle rocks side to side, move the knees, move the ankles, move the feet in any way that feels nice. Awesome. And then from here, float your feet down to the ground. So feet are going to be in that sort of bridge-like position. Heels close to the butt, feet about hip width distance apart. And we're going to finish with our little bit of a trot. So like you're riding on a horse, you're going to start to push into your heels and then find a little bit of a vibrational motion. So you're going to get that shimmy up and down sensation. So you might feel a little bit of a movement of the connective tissue, like the back of your head and the backside of your body, the parts that are sort of pressed into the earth. They're going to get sticky there and they're going to kind of gently pull on the connective tissue. And then it's going to create just a little bit of a vibration. If at any point this doesn't feel like a good place for you to be or a movement that's safe in your body, leave it off. But if it feels okay, take a couple of nice bounces here and just kind of notice a little bit of movement in your hips. Notice a softness in your belly, but you might feel that little bit of a vibration in the fatty tissue around the belly, maybe even around the chest. So just tune in and notice where in your body you feel the movement. Awesome. Take one or two more little bounces and then let that come to stillness. Pause for a moment, take a nice big breath. Great. And then from here, toe heel your feet to the outer edges of your mat so you find a wider position. And we're just going to windshield wiper the knees side to side. Nice. One more little windshield wiper side to side. And then we're going to take it in a supine twist, but we're not going to stay in the supine twist for any long period of time. So pull the left knee up into your chest, send your right leg long, take that left knee over and across the body, keep your left arm out nice and wide. And then if it feels good, turn your head to the left and take 3 to 5 nice big breaths here. One more breath. Awesome. And then pull that left knee into your chest, bring the right knee into meet. So both knees come into the chest, take a gentle rock side to side. And then you're going to hold on to the right knee, send your left leg nice and long, and take that right knee over and across the body to the left. Let your right arm open out nice and wide. Turn your head to the right if that feels comfortable. And take about 3 to 5 deep breaths here. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, pull the right knee into your chest, bring the left knee into meet. So both knees into the chest. We're just going to hold on to the kneecaps, draw your knees in circles, go in one direction. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Draw your knees in circles, go Awesome. And then from here, set your feet down and then just take a minute to tune in. So notice where would be the best Shavasana for you. Would it feel good to come into constructive rest to let the hip flexors chill out and the low back feel supported? Would it feel good to walk the legs nice and long? And then if you walk your legs long and it feels like your low back still could use a little support, you can always take your blanket or your towel, tuck it under your knees and create a little bent knee position so that everything feels nice and soft. And then once you feel like you've got your body in a place that you can find a stillness that makes sense to you, allow your eyes to close. Allow your breath to start to come in and out at its natural rhythm. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana just as long as you like. But if you feel called to do so, start to bring your awareness back into your body. Bring a little gentle movements into the fingers and the toes. Maybe draw a deeper breath back into your body. And then if it feels good, especially if your knees are bent, walk your legs long, reach your arms up and overhead, point your toes, stretch through your fingers, and just feel the nice full length through your body. Maybe even feel just a little bit of length through the front of your hips. So reach your arms up and allow a little arching of the back body so that you can really feel that length through the front side of the body. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. And then in your own time, in your own way, start to find your way up to a seated position. So you can rock and roll up, you can roll to one side, anything that feels good and gets you there. Awesome. And then as you find your way up, just take a second to find a nice soft landing for your sits bones, a nice tall lifted spine, and then just allow your eyes to close down. Just let your hands rest gently on your knees or your thighs, wherever feels good. And we're just going to take a few nods of the head here. Inhale and just allow your chin to lift up towards the sky. And exhale, allow your chin to tuck down towards your chest. Inhale and let your chin lift. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Inhale, let your chin lift. Stay for just one extra second. Feel that nice stretch through the front of the neck and the throat. And then on your next exhale, tuck your chin down to your chest and stay there. And then when you feel ready, gather your prayer hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. Take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, shoulders soften and think about just letting go of anything you're holding on to that won't serve you through the rest of your night. Gently lift up through the top of your head. Gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Monday. I'm so happy to spend 2 days, 2 parts of my day with you.